Hi guys, it's Colette. Welcome back to my channel, and this is the weekly tarot card for the week commencing Monday the 17th of May. And I'm doing this with a bit of I'm nosy because I have my 60th birthday on the 21st. I'm right on the cusp between Taurus and Gemini. I feel more Taurian. My husband would probably say I'm more Gemini because I can talk a lot. So, but enough of that. It's a big birthday, and I'll get back to you. I know I've got some nice things I can show you, and I want to talk about being 60 as well because I'm looking forward to it. So, anyway, weekly tarot card for the week commencing 17th of May 2021. Oh, nervous. Oh, well, it's not the best, but there we go. It's the Five of Swords. Now, Rorik does give this a kind of dual meaning because initially you see the word defeat on the card, but I always see it a bit like the Berlin Wall when it came down, and that wee man up there standing just looking over. The Five of Swords can be an inner battle card, and it can also move you away from defeat rather than take you towards it. But the way I describe it, and in general, in the Rorig deck, not in other decks, but in Rorig, is that this reminds me of when the Berlin Wall came down. And as the wall was being pulled down, we were watching it on television. It was a wonderful thing. And then what happened was people in the east, some of them pulled the wall down and then stayed in the east, and others went and stood on the top of the wall, and others jumped over into the west. And I remember thinking at the time, I wonder what I would do. I would like to think that I would go over and explore and take that chance, maybe, because it probably could have been a bit dangerous. Or would I have been the person that stood and looked forward and back and almost didn't do anything? Or would I have just said, oh, the wall's down, that's great, I'm just going to stay where I am? Um, so that's the way I see it in Rorik. And, you know, in global terms, this could be a card where we're viewing things in the week ahead that are potentially massive change, and we'll be looking at it like I did with the Berlin Wall. I wonder what we would do in that situation. So there could be a situation or various situations globally in the week ahead that we're maybe not quite sure about how we would react, but we would hope we would react in a certain way, and therefore we'll normally be supportive of the people that take the leap of faith as such. Politically, this can be even people saying, I've had enough of one regime and moving to another, enough of one party and moving to another. Or it can just be the status quo, depending on how you feel about it at that time. So globally, oh, anything could happen in this card. To be honest, I'm aware that it's not just about what will happen globally. It's about the different ways that people will look at it. You know, if you're sitting in a very safe place and you're maybe cheering folk on as they maybe take on a regime or a civil disobedience, or even with the Navalny situation, hopefully still here by the time this goes up. These are all things that bring a consciousness of what we do. Would we be brave enough to take that leap, or would we stay where we were? Would we hang back? And I know that's not the traditional meaning of the card in Rider Waite, etc. But I mean, Roerig's is just brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And it looks as though that wee man's facing forward and defeat therefore is behind him. So, quite a hard one to explain in Roerig, but I hope you've got the gist of it. For people looking for new jobs, again, it might be a case of you have to view what's going on round about you, the feelings, the economy, whatever, before you would actually take a big risk. I'm not saying hold back, I'm saying just look at all your circumstances and the circumstances of your industry or whatever, and make the decision to either stay where you are, hang back, be safe, or take that leap of faith. And I think in this card with Roerig, none of those potentials are actually wrong. What will be right is the one that you take a good positive choice with. So that'll be interesting. Let me know if you understand that card when it comes out. If we look at health, it's one of these ones where you can set up new ways. You can go forward and leave the past in the past. So that can bring us to exercising, etc. I know gyms might be starting to open, and there's a lot more potential to be social with exercise, which is always good. It just generally is asking you, in anything to do with bodily or mental health, if there's an issue, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to sit it out? Are you going to go back the way? Are you going to go forward? And again, that is a very personal decision. Same with relationships. If you're in a long-term relationship, I think the middle ground is almost like indifference, and back the way is like maybe some good memories moving towards indifference, and then moving forwards maybe to something new to take you away from that level of indifference. I could actually see a lot of long-term relationships breaking up on this card. But then again, a lot of people will just maybe sit where they are, knowing that their situation is not good. Do you see what I mean? It's not a card, because it's swords. It's like, it's about intellect, it's about knowledge. Because it's swords, it's not about being unaware of your situation. Things could happen with this card that make us very aware of what we should be doing. So bear that in mind for relationships. Finances, very similar. You'll get an idea of where you should be going, or maybe being cautious with this. It's not really a financial card, but if you take on the aspects that I've said about other things, you'll get the general principle of the Roerig Five of Swords. Spiritually as well, it's a case of, knowing where you are and maybe having the courage to go forward if the time is right. If you're moving forward, but you know that it's a time when you're going to be really, really busy with things, or you're really, really going to be all over the place, you have to think, well, is that the best time? Should I stay on top of that wall for a wee while longer? It's an in-betweeny card. It's a number 5, which is always, the sense of kind of in the middle. But I do like the Roerig version of it. I prefer Roerig to the Rider-Waite aspects. Excuse me. It's funny, I'm now thinking of this for myself, as it is a big birthday. It's a 60th birthday, and I read that I believe the Chinese see the 60th birthday as one lifetime, and it starts again, and it's a reason for a big celebration. Well, we're having a kind of joint celebration because my younger daughter is the week before, so we're having this joint celebration, which will be lovely. But yeah, with COVID regulations on it, we know what we're doing, and it will just be family. outside. However, for me, it's interesting because a couple of weeks ago I got very, very tired. Hi, Nell. You want to come up? Come on. Come on, say hello. Come on. Up you come. No, she's not. Okay, go away then. A couple of weeks ago, I felt really, really tired, and I think that my kidneys, I've got chronic kidney disease, and it felt like my kidneys not being too happy, and I had to rest a lot. And at the end of it, I've got a lovely husband, and he was talking to me, and he said, well, you will be 60. Um, do you want to retire? And it was like, no, I really don't. And I knew where it was coming from, not even just in a financial way, but I was like, no, I really, I really wouldn't want to do that. I work, reduced hours anyway, at this, and obviously as an author, I was like, no, I couldn't, I don't want to. Um, and he said, well, it's nice to hear you actually saying what you want, because I've not been quite sure which way you were going to go with this. So anyway, I realised that we talked about it again as to reasons why I'm simply not ready for anything like that, even though my health isn't so good. And the funny thing was that I then put it out of my mind, and bringing this card up, don't get me wrong, it doesn't mean that I'm going to take a decision to retire, but I think what it's telling me personally on this big 60th birthday week is to redefine the way forward, to look at the past, to look at where I am, and to define how I want to go forward in my 60s with my gift, with what I want to do, but also bearing in mind health situations. Jim's older than me, we're all getting a bit older, stuff like that. So that's almost like a wee reminder to me that, okay, I've made that decision, but I can't just keep going the way I've been going. I need to make some sort of changes in it, and sort of just almost see the road ahead and go for it, rather than humming and hawing about this, that, and the next thing. I'll do this, I'll do that, I won't do this, I won't do that, but then not doing anything about it. So I know I'm getting on here, but so for me, this will be defining how I go ahead in my 60s, bearing in mind that from the Chinese culture, I will be one. 1 year old. Um, it's a nice way of thinking of it, isn't it? It's a big a sense of, rather than just saying, oh, it's a big birthday celebration, being more like, yeah, okay, but what are you going to do? What are you going to do spiritually? Who are you now? Who do you want to be in your 60s? I said I'd do a video about this, but I think I'm doing it in this one. So anyway, yeah, it's worth using this card to maybe redefine your options and then making a choice with them. So yeah, I often think that this card looks quite harsh, but at the same time, there's so much potential in it. The wee Manny up there has a full light around him, his aura is glowing. He can do it. We all can do it. So many blessings. I hope you like my particular reading. For those of you that are new, my book Tarot Novice to Pro by Colette Brown is in all Amazons and other marketplaces, and I think it's out of bookshops now because it'll be 10 years old. It was my very first book, and it went out just as I was 50. So there we go, that's another looking back the way I've had 10 books out in 10 years. The one I'm doing just now isn't going to just take me a year, but I want other things going on. So there's that, okay, you've had 10 books in 10 years, but what about the next 10 years? What do you do about that? where do you see yourself? Obviously dependent on health and a wee bit of luck, you know. So yeah, I'm intrigued by this card. In a way, I'm happier now that one come out that's about deep thought and making decisions rather than maybe just having a very happy celebration card. You know, it's time to think. So I hope you've enjoyed my wee ramble there, and I will see you the other side of 60. Many blessings now. Bye.